Welcome to Bragging Rights, Season 3, Episode 27. Well, I feel all distracted now. Oh.
We've not even got into the intro.
Didn't even know he's bought a order chips.
Susan's got chips delivered behind the screen, like, not even mentioned anything to us.
Where's my portion, Jake?
Where's our food?
Hey, you don't use that name on here. Susan only.
Oh, sorry.
Wow. That's
Right,
disgraceful.
let's go back. It is Season 3, Episode 27. Welcome to Bragging Rights. Sponsored as always by Comscaff, and as always at the home of the pod, Travel. If you're watching, you'll see. Please remember, however you view or listen, to like and subscribe, and particularly on YouTube. If you can, give us a hype. Really helps us out. So, gentlemen, how are we all doing this week?
I've had a big enough gap between the game and now.
Do you know, funny enough, I said that to Susan. First thing I said when I got in the car, it's disappointing with 5 days after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
love
have-
playing on a Thursday and recording on a Tuesday.
We are
Yeah.
recording Tuesday for people's reference, just for various reasons, so it has been a while.
I know, it's great. I've almost forgot.
I watched it in 15 minutes and went, we're going to win 40-0 and then just turn it off.
We'll remind you, don't worry.
It's
fine.
been a bit better for me because I didn't actually watch the game on Thursday night. When I flew home on Sunday, I watched it on Sunday in its entirety rather
so
than
it's
following
fresh for
along.
you.
So it was a bit fresher. It's a bit more like, oh, this is good. It is a bit fresher for me, but I'll still talk rubbish when I do the review.
Me and Dean said the same thing leaving the stadium. Like, just feel numb to it now. Like, it never should be the case that we leave a derby after getting beat and feel, It should always be bitter and horrible, and it should always feel awful, but it just doesn't.
I'm assuming it will when it finally happens.
Do you think it would if the performances were better? Like, say, for example,
It felt a bit minging last year,
yeah.
especially like the performance, the one where Cust got sent off, because I still contest that he didn't intentionally hit Morgan in the face, and it should have been a yellow, not a red. And we still performed well in that game up until the point where you could tell we were playing with 12 men for so
Not like
long.
an FC fan to live in the past, is it?
But, oh, right. Don't you have a bar at Craven Park called the 10-5 bar?
Yes, and we
Yeah.
also own that bar, just like we own the stadium, so we can do whatever we want. Right, gents.
I've not heard you mention treble yet this podcast.
I know, that was a good comment on it. Drink every time Josh mentions the treble, and I tell you what, thanks for the great comment, because I'll keep mentioning it until we're no longer the treble holders, which technically we're not.
That's technically lived in the past, Josh.
I know. I did ask you all how you was, and you two, after saying, well, you saying Jimmy was all right, immediately started doing your review of the game. Take it back a step before we do
We never get a word in edgeways when it's a derby, because
Yeah.
you two are just like, we won.
Sorry, correction.
Yeah,
It's
Josh
like
is
that.
always
and I
like,
get a little snippet.
yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
It's
This
my
is
podcast.
Josh's podcast.
I'm sick of that going off. I'm going to come over here. How are you this week, Craig?
I'm alright, I'm a bit tired, but I live. Just finished my run of nights, so. I've been asleep today, soldiering on, as you do.
Time
Well,
off
I've
then?
got
Nice.
Bit of bedtime.
How are you, Josh?
Bedtime juice.
Yeah,
Did you have a
fine.
nice holiday?
Yeah, it was grand, cheers.
Yeah? Where'd you go?
Spain. Estepona.
Where's that?
It's on the coast. It's sort of,
40 minutes from Malaga.
yeah, maybe 40 minutes from Marbella, maybe 45 from Malaga, maybe 25 from Torremolinos, maybe 35 from Benalmádena.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Well, I don't want to give away my location.
I don't even know if any of them places were real.
No one knows if they're real, Abel. And how are you, Abel? Are you good?
Steady.
You only know Hornsey and Bestwick are real places because there's golf courses there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's plenty of golf near me, actually. I didn't play though.
Is this just a podcast thing, or is this a real world thing where someone asks you if you're all right and you have to just give a one-word answer?
No.
Oh, you've brought so much character in since you replaced Dean.
We will move on to the game then. I think it might be a little bit of unorganised chaos.
Should we just spend 25 minutes going, we won.
Just say it once, I'll put it on repeat, and then we can go home early.
We'll go and get some food.
Yeah.
This will be one of those episodes where the camera fails, and then we'll have to write that the first 25 minutes are like just audio only, and all it'll be is just Craig going, we won, with loads of
Do you know what?
nasty comments.
I'll use AI to animate the logo, and I'll just have the Robin just going like that all the way through it as well. But Go on then.
If you can slip in a 9 in a row, ole, that'd be great as well.
I mean, we should start because that was the only bit FC we're any good for.
That's
and
a valid point.
Then let them talk about the rest of it.
Right, until we got tired after 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was... Yeah,
You say that, it still took us 32 minutes to score our first try.
Yeah. You just have to wait till Burrow went off, didn't you? Oh, no,
Actually
Burrow came on.
came on.
Sorry, yeah, Burrow came on. Yeah.
I did say that to somebody who was sat next to me. I didn't know who it was, obviously. And I said, the game changed when Lawton came on and Burrow came on.
Yeah.
The roles seemed to reverse a little bit.
I mean, I'm not going to give him credit, but I won't discredit him in terms of that. I mean, the try, your first try, I think, Paul Cook pointed out in another podcast, and I know you said maybe a lot of what he was saying was because he thinly veiled version of I don't like Hull FC or whatever you said. He was right. And SASA was down on his haunches after being on the pitch for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
I've got a point about it.
I'm not going to blame everything on Burrow, but I will admit the attacking performance dropped when he came on. But the defensive side of things fell off when SASA came on and when the rest of the team got tired as well.
I wondered on that as well, though, because my notes here, that opening aggression and energy from FC was some of the best I've seen for a while. And I thought it was very good. I thought in parts we were struggling to match it and we couldn't keep up with it, which was concerning for us. But then when you look at the game as a whole, it looks like you spent all the energy that you had in the opening 15, 20 minutes. Then you hung on for 12 minutes so we could get our first try. And it discredits you a bit because there wasn't woeful performances across the board. But the reality is, it just showed again that lack of fitness, lack of game fitness, especially from players returning from injury. SASA being one of them, I'm sure we'll discuss a few times today. And it was probably quite disappointing for you in a way because it almost gave you that false hope that you had such a good start.
It wasn't even just that. It was looking at it. We started really well. We came out firing. It wasn't just a case that we were outperforming you in terms of effort. You guys just kept messing up. And we didn't take enough advantage of the amount of drop ball, the amount of loose passes. And then it was almost like we got tired. Obviously, you know, when you're playing rugby, you're playing any sport, when you're tired, your decision-making gets worse because you mentally start fatiguing. And then we start making silly decisions, silly errors, silly mistakes. The one that stands out for me is the Briscoe firing the ball into Arthur's face. That line ball.
On the first tackle.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure you went 50 metres after that.
Which concussed him, and which is why he was throwing such bad balls later on.
But when you look at the start, Jake Arthur's kicking game, first half, I'd say, top notch.
There was very good high balls in the right position, had our back three backpedaling a bit, not being able to get clean runs away, then your defence could come and hold us back. Yeah, I thought his kicking game was pretty good to start off with. You mentioned then like Rovers' start being so poor. I've got the hindsight of not watching the game fully live, obviously, as I said, and they put this stat on, the whole KR process for 2026. Sky put it on 6 minutes in. Early errors, penalties, lose the territory battle, lose the energy battle, cling on, concede points, frustration. And it was all true. And I'm looking at that and I was like, yeah, actually, that's exactly what I've seen from Rovers a lot this year. And I'm seeing it in this game. And then Litton scores your second try, and then he gives it to the Rovers fans, as any player would in a derby, and giving it beans. And I just sat there chuckling because if I'm watching this live, I'm thinking, well, I don't know what we're going to do here. If we play another game like this, we'll have another game like the Wire game. But in hindsight, I'm sat there chuckling, thinking the next 65 minutes aren't going to be out of any of them. And also, Litton's going to rule that because he's going to be the one that's crying at the end. But when it all first come on, I thought, that's one of them pivotal moments where Sky have just jinxed us here. Is this going to throw it back in the pundit's face and say, you shouldn't have mentioned that? Or is it just going to be a repeat performance from Rovers we've seen recently? And obviously, it wasn't.
I don't know. To me, it was particularly frustrating because at this point, we can't really blame injuries anymore. We've got a large proportion of who we had missing back. There's still obviously a couple of big names that we haven't got in Price and Asiata.
Yeah, there's two,
and then there's
and
a couple
then there's three.
Then there's 2 or 3 more like that might be in like the 17 or the 18. But other than that, we're not far off. And it frustrated the hell out of me that you guys didn't even seem to have to get out of first gear. As soon as you started playing anything like we felt a bit. Now, whether that's tiredness, I don't know what the hell it was, but it's just so infuriating to watch. Because we went from doing basic good rugby, and all right, yes, you were making errors, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And then as soon as, if we continue doing that, then we don't lose as much energy, or we don't look so knackered because we're not defending so much. Maybe you cling on, and maybe you guys don't get 2 scores on and take it in. It was even at half time.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
So maybe you're still behind at half time. That's a much better look, given our opening 20, than what actually happened.
You should have been there. Your second try was. I mean, your first try was your first try, whatever. Your
Is that
second
Morgs?
try.
No, the first one was a
a
moan.
moan.
I mean,
Second one was-
he come
yeah.
on and just started rolling your entire front line.
Yeah.
He was superb.
First ball.
First
First time he touched the ball, I'm surprised he didn't go over. Just steamrolled onto it. But your second try was Morg out
Morg,
wide.
yeah.
That was weak.
Was that against your famous goal line defence?
Yes.
Ah, that's the one I
From the
remember.
6 again, wasn't it? And on the first play we
Yeah,
scored.
it was weak.
They made a
Yeah,
comment on
very weak.
it was weak, and they made a comment on Sky Sports that I found really interesting. They said half time's come at the wrong time for Rovers. We had all the momentum, we've managed to even the game up, and it's come at the wrong time. We saw this from you guys a couple of weeks back when you ended up losing the York game. At half time, York came out and seriously readjusted their game plan and managed to pick the win. You know, you come close to winning that. We said at the time, SASA being denied at the end with tackle 36 by Paul McShane. But you came close to winning that, but you didn't adjust at half time and you came out and played terribly. That half time did come at the wrong time for us, but we did adjust again, and it looked like you really didn't. And again, it's not to try and knock on, it was still a close game in some ways. Scoreline maybe flattered us by 1 try in the end, possibly, but you didn't adjust again, and that's that sign again of Andy Last isn't a Super League level coach. He's a good assistant coach. He's getting what he can out of some players, not others. And again, just the same repeat message for FC.
Yeah.
Let's look forward to next year and see what Banana can do.
I think the most frustrating thing about that game.
Well, deal.
The most frustrating thing about that game, we started to put pressure on you again, and then Budgie comes up with that intercept, and yeah, it was
Beautiful.
It was a desperate.
Sexy.
It was a
It was never
desperate
on
attempt.
though, was it?
No, it was never on. But against a lesser winger who doesn't read that,
Who's not 6'5".
who's not 6'5", that comes off. And it was one of them things where I get it. He was tired, he'd been under the pump for however long. He's pushing and pushing and pushing because we are desperate to win, especially a derby. Like you said, 9 in a row. It's embarrassing for us as a club, and it's embarrassing for everyone involved at the club. He's desperate to get that ball out wide. And if Budgie's not there, even if Davis is there, I don't think Davis reads that as well. Like, Budgie just reads the game. He's a fantastic winger. You know, you throw it against some of the other wingers in the league, they don't read that. Or they maybe do what Barron does quite a lot, where he reads it but doesn't keep hold of it
Pass
and
it
knocks
down.
it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that comes off, we're right back in that game. And I think that's what was that killed it.
We did
And then-
sub Borrow on shortly after that, though, so that would have probably derailed us again.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Was it-
fair. But then to make it worse, I hate dogging on him because I know his brother.
I was
watches.
just going to say about
What
was
is Moy
that
doing?
frustrating because he had him.
Yeah, he had the pace,
Like,
caught him.
I don't get why players do that. Like, why do they dive to try and make the tackle?
I think it's just panicking it.
Just use your entire body and just latch. You know, like the aliens do on Alien, where they just like stick to your face. If you just did that and just went, "You man, you're not going anywhere." Like, but he did what every other winger seems to do, which is try and dive at the ankles. No, just smash into him.
I think he had a patchy game, unfortunately, did Moy. There was a couple of moments. There was a few moments in the first half when we was making loads of errors where we was at fault rather than FC at good play, and that not trying to be nasty about it, but there was one where Barron took an intercept, but he'd ran out too far, and the ball's meant to go to Budgie, but we give a rubbish ball from Morg. Barron's actually facing his own line when he takes the intercept because he's ran too far. But you get the ball back. If we're more clinical there, Budgie's probably in the corner. So these little moments that turn on games. With Moy, there was a couple. One was that tackle. He could have maybe done a better effort on Budgie and he wouldn't have gone in and scored. There was one in the first half in Morg's 40-20 that just bamboozled Moy.
That was very poor positioning, in my
Was it
opinion.
not Litton? I thought it was Litton
It was
kicking with his
Litton.
left foot down that side.
It was Litton that kicked it.
I thought it was Morg's 40-20
No,
in the
it was
first
Litton.
half. I've written Morg, but I'm absolutely...
I'm not sure. It's 4 days ago. I've forgotten it now. But.
I thought it was Litton.
It was like-
What?
Sure it was
Half of us maybe are right.
Look, it might be Litton. I seem to, for
We're
some
not
reason,
professionals.
I've written Morg 40-20, I don't know why, but the best part about the budgie try, though, now we're talking about it, undoubtedly has got to be the celebration.
Absolutely.
I didn't even see it, mate. I was like, if you look at the picture of him as he catches it and they're looking into the south stand and you see all the fans like that, genuinely, that was me. My head just went back.
It's better than that, though, and it's when they all go like that with the hands on the head, then Moy nearly gets him, so they get excited, and then the hands go up again. But you've got the juxtaposition there of it's Derby week, and you've just seen Litton score the second try through in that first half, giving it to the Rovers fans, because that's what happens. And then we get to this one, Budgie goes full length for the intercept, he scores the try, gives a few fists, and then Minnie runs over, and all these rumours, where are they going to circulate from if they don't circulate from across the river?
I have seen a replay.
So then him and Minnie start having a few pretend punches to each other, and it's just the perfect icing on the cake for Rovers fans to be like, what do you mean they were scrapping at training? Nonsense rubbish the week of Derby week, what a way for it to be put to bed. And what I particularly enjoyed about it as well is, we bag Minnie quite a bit on here. I think we both talk about, we haven't seen these performances. It was also one of his best games, probably this year, the effort, the heart. So for them two to have that celebration, and it almost felt like such a pivotal try in the game as well, it was just, that was really magic moment for me.
Yeah, he took on the running 13 role rather than the sort of pivot 13 role. And for me, he's a better runner of the ball than he is a distributor. He's got that, because he seems to have such a low centre of gravity, it's difficult to get down. It's taking 2 or 3 players to get him down. He's getting his nose through the line and things like that. So I would like to see that more from him. And speaking of players that went well, Budgie was great to see. I know we've just spoke about Budgie, but his returning of the ball, he was making contact and then gaining yards after contact. Where I said earlier on, I've got a point about him. SASA, he put a couple of players on his arse, but it made probably a grand total of about 4 yards off about 5 carries. Yards after contact, which.
But he's always done that though. What SASA at his best, for me, it's not a metres after contact. SASA for me at his best is run in, bump a player off, put him on his ass, turn around, offload
But
it.
he didn't do that.
But he's been doing the bumping and no offloading.
Yeah, because that was one I noticed live in game was.
It was Morg's 40-20. I'm just being confirmed that I was correct from the producers.
Right, okay.
We're meant to text things like this during podcasts.
It don't matter enough now because it was like 10 minutes ago, but whatever.
But yeah, like for me, like as a prop myself, like that's very frustrating. Like, because it just seems to put the handbrake on, like you say, he does it all the time. But there's no good. And all right, one was Litton, one was Morg that he sat down. But then he did sit Adley down as well, I believe.
He did sit Adley down.
Which is fair enough. He's done it against a bigger player. But then he's not getting that offload away, or he's not making those yards after contact.
This is what, and I'm going to go back to him, this is what frustrates me about Moy. If I'm on the field as a fullback with that much pace, that much energy, and probably one of the only people on the pitch that actually looks fit, and you've got a prop like SASA who's starting now to bump people off again and turn around, there's no one there for the offload. He needs to watch replays of Jamie Shaw over the 10 or so years that he played for FC or longer and be like, where would Shaw be? Because that's the type of fullback that he is. He's not a pivot, he is a runner, a supporter, and he needs to start playing that game. Otherwise, I don't want to be disrespectful, his Super League career is going to be very short if he doesn't start playing to his strengths.
I've mentioned it before about Rovers, but you can sort of flip it over and pour it onto Moy. It's those 1%, some extra little efforts to get up SAS's arse, just in case. 99 times out of 100, you're not going to get an offload. Or it's going to go to somebody else. But that one time out of 100, you're going to get another 30, 40 yards down the line because of how fast and how nimble and how agile he is.
I don't disagree, because it is instinctive and it's a rugby league instinct to get there, but I question where the coaches are here to tell him that and whether he's not in that position because he's not being asked to be in that position. And you can go back and say, well, he should know, but you're trying to use him like a pivot and he's still learning the game, and I think he's getting out wide ready for the balls to come. Where we've seen and where we say the distribution's too slow and he's not getting the ball away, I don't think he's been engaged enough in training to say, I want you there. And I think that's another part of your problem. I think he's more than capable of doing it. I just don't think that Lasty's asking him to. And that's why sometimes when you watch an on-field performance and you get frustrated what a player does, you have to remember that it's not all just on what he wants to do. There's a team, there's plans in place, there's tactics that the team need to follow.
I get that. But as a player, I know he's young. He needs to put a stamp on him on his own game and turn around to the coaching staff and saying, look, I don't think this is really working. How do you think about me changing up and working in a different way? How do you feel about me trying to play that more of a supportive role and be that man on the shoulder of the props? And I don't think players like Lasty and the time's done. Do you know what I mean? Lasty's not the coach next year, and Moy's not getting the one shirt next year unless Hodgson's arm falls off. Like, there's no harm in doing it. The season's done.
The bigger problem actually is we've moved on a bit from there, but it's not Moy there. It's S3E27. He's lazy and he's petulant. Is what he showed on Thursday night. It's fine. He's returning to fitness. I think we've got a question on him later, so we'll discuss it in more detail. But the reality is, he let you down defensively time and time again. So his big bopper runs, putting people on their arse, they mean nothing when you don't get the result, and also you're letting us march upfield. And yes, he's coming back from an injury. I get that, but at this point, I thought we was maybe starting to see some better match fitness from him, and I thought he was quite weak on Thursday night. I was, if I was an FC fan, I'd be disappointed because his defensive efforts would have outweighed anything he did going forward.
I think if most of the other props tear performance that you go, okay, it's not your best performance, but okay, he's one of our marquee players. That isn't acceptable from a marquee player, unfortunately, for my money.
I don't think the comment from Lasty was acceptable either.
Okay, what comment was that?
He has to play him because he's a marquee player.
No, not at all. I agree.
If he's not fit, don't play him.
I don't like...
Asiata's not fit. He's not playing.
Partly because he can't walk.
He can. I saw him the other day.
Was he moving
That's
like
conclusive.
It was. I went to watch a training session. I went to a sponsors training session, and he was just on a bike.
What is wrong with you? Are you not hurt enough?
Yeah, and I was at more after watching him train.
No, what you're mentioning though, we were talking about, it's a question I think my dad sent him for this week. We've discussed it now anyways. Last his comments, he's a marquee player, and he said, got to play him as a marquee player. People's thoughts on it? You were just going to say, but your thoughts on it there?
It's just, for me, it's that matter of potential. Like, SAS's best is better than any other prop we've got. And if he's available and, we can question his match fitness, but he's fit enough to play to some degree. I can understand the logic even if I disagree with it, because I thought Salabio showed him up myself.
I was going to mention Salabio.
Like, Salabio started over SA, and it wasn't just when that happened, but obviously when he came off, it felt like the intensity dropped. And yeah, he's not perfect, but he seems to do a lot right in my ear.
You need to keep Salabio revved up. Because he needs to rewatch the game, and that opening kickoff in the first half, Bell gets the credit for the shot that Salabio puts on. So you show him that, because he's not even getting the credit he deserves, and Salabio will keep getting better and better. Yeah,
Jimmy mentioned Salabio quite a bit in the past few episodes.
Love the guy.
He's been your pretty much standout player.
He's our best forward over the last month.
So on Thursday night, I specifically kept an eye out for him because obviously I don't see a lot of Hull FC.
And he only got 20 minutes.
Yeah, but in that 20 minutes, he did stand out. Like, he was, I'd probably go as far as to say he's your best player on the pitch on Thursday for that 20 minutes he was on. He caused us problems. Like, you've just mentioned that absolute shot from the first carry, and I thought, oh, here we go. And then, his carries as well. He was making yards after contact, which is obviously a big thing for me, which you've probably noticed. But
good player. I'm going to use this to pivot into something we need to talk about, because for me, Salabio is, when you talk about Hill, who I'm still yet to see anything from, that I'm still struggling with. I find, as I've said before, his grubbiness and aggression the wrong side of the line. Salabio is showing him up in short stints. We don't know why Salabio don't get more minutes. That's an FC problem. But we'll pivot that then to talk about Hill's the situation that occurred where, Hill on the wrong side of a swinging arm into a Rovers player's face. Thoughts, feelings?
There was mitigation. It's accidental. Penalties fine. No card required.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's the afters that I don't agree with. I agree
Well,
with Abel
where
on
May smacked him in the face.
Well, no, 'cause
red card. I called it at the time.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
did.
red card.
I said at the time, I thought they would have both got 10.
Yeah.
what I don't get about it is, for me, I'm struggling with mitigation because the guy runs in and it's a swinging arm, so there's no actual attempt to make a tackle. And it's a swinging arm direct to the face, and we've seen a lot softer ones go this year. Now, I'm quite happy that it wasn't a yellow card. I like to see the game carry on. Then what happens is, bit of a melee, May puts him on his ass. Now I get it, Hill's a big bloke. If Tyrone May put me on my ass, I think I'd be a bit frustrated as well. Because all he does is push him over. So Hill gets up and runs back into the melee. So already he's going back in, carrying on to being an antagoniser. So I could see him being done for that. He then goes like this with an arm towards May. At the same time, May does it, open palm strike to the face. So I'm watching this thinking, I think players need to be in trouble here. And I actually think the right outcome should be a yellow card for both. And then we'll see what disciplinary points give. But Hill has got to grow up for me because you've just given away a stupid penalty. You may be at risk of a card yourself, maybe at risk of disciplinary points, which we now know there wasn't. But you have hit someone with a swinging arm who's at about hip height. You've then been put on your ass. I get that that's embarrassing that an halfback's pushed you over. But you've then gone back in and gone directly for May because he's pushed you over, and you've pushed out at him at the same time he has at you. And I think you're at risk here of being in trouble. Now, May's in the wrong, don't get me wrong, but Hill's got to learn when, come on, mate, you're going to get yourself in more trouble and your team in more trouble here.
So, two things. Firstly, I disagree with your wording of swinging arm. It was he had his arm by his side and he went in. I don't remember.
Oh, so it's a shoulder charge.
Yeah, 100%.
Direct to the face.
But I wouldn't call it a swinging arm. The swinging arm for me is bang, like that. His arm was by his side and it shouldn't have been. And I'm not saying, you're wrong in that it should have been a yellow card. His arm was low and he just didn't make any attempt to wrap. I don't think it was a swinging arm.
Okay.
If it was a swinging arm, 100% red card where it was because he would have took his jaw off.
That's fair.
So, yeah, yellow card for me, 100%. And the May thing afterwards, I didn't see him push him over. But it don't matter how big you are. If you're off balance and someone pushes you, you're going over, aren't you? Especially if you're bigger. But I completely agree where you're saying he's on the wrong side of the line. And that's all right if he's playing for Wigan and they're 30 points up. And you can get away with it and you've got a team of absolute weldies around you that can make up for that penalty, but he's not playing for Wigan. He's playing for currently the second worst team in the league. You just can't. You can't do it.
Look, we got away with it in the end. Nobody got any penalty points for anything, which is probably the way we maybe like to see rugby these days.
Certainly in a derby.
In a derby, you expect a bit over the line.
Yeah.
Bit like Origin, innit? Let it go.
For handbags, do you want yellow cards dishing out?
Not particularly.
I mean, to me, maybe the ref needs to go, calm it down, boys, and any more of that, and then you've got cards involved.
I think
that's
pretty much what he did from what I can gather.
Yeah.
But for consistency, and what we've seen this year was some soft yellows and reds and weird disciplinary decisions given. A yellow card for each, to me, fits what we've seen if we can get some level of consistency.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had an issue with that. I'd have an issue if you got a yellow for the actual incident, which is absolutely a penalty, no question. Mm-hmm. But for the handbags, I can see yellows, and if that had happened that way, I wouldn't have grumbled at the time.
This comes down to the fact that Kendall didn't know the fucking rules. Simple as that.
I'm so pleased that Willie Peters gets to leave our club as the most successful coach to ever play, to have a team at MKM. I mean, what was that? Unbeaten at the MKM every time he's played there. Won a World Challenge there, World Cup Challenge there. Yeah. Must be the most successful coach at the MKM ever. Fair?
100% win record.
This is why people send comments in saying that you're insufferable.
This is why I've started this, because I wanted to add one more thing from my side.
I have to sit next to him every week for anyone that wants to call him a wanker.
I'm going to have a call back to your predecessor, to Dean. Spoke about something last year where we talk about making your own luck, going for those 1%ers, putting that effort in.
Love a 1%.
The try, your last try, the effort from Barron is fantastic. He's going down. He is a cat's cock hair from having an arm on the ground and being tackled. and somehow he gets that ball up in the air and out. And all right, there's an element of luck for the fact that he goes backwards, and Hardaker's there to catch it. How did he catch it? Puts the kick in.
Put the kick in.
Yeah. But talk about heart and effort, especially in a derby, when the game wasn't actually gone, but it pretty much was. That is fantastic, and that's what you want from your players week in, week out, because that extra effort and him pushing for it, what a try, what an effort. And all right, it's not element of luck, but as I said to your predecessor, you make your own luck, and I thought, what a lovely try. And if it wasn't for Broadbench jump and steal from Moy in the first half and Budgie's intercept, that would have been the best try of the game. It's just that we had 2 very good tries.
Yeah, I agree. Nice to hear Josh say something nice about FC. I hope that the FC fans cling on to that, because it'll be the last time for a long time. But
it's the only try we had anything nice to say about, because the other 2 shouldn't have been given.
You got anything else?
That's a fair point, that.
What was that?
The other 2 tries shouldn't have been given. Simple as that. I stick by that. I called it at the time, and you said, I'm going to laugh at this until I see it back.
I ain't seen it back. I've avoided watching it back.
That was going to be my question. So the first one was forward. Abel agrees with me that it was forward. Marginally, whether it was or not, it doesn't matter whether it's 100 yards forward or a yard forward, it's forward. End of. And Kendall was in line with it. That's the frustrating thing. Hence why I say Kendall not knowing the pissing rules. And the second one, the play before, your player used the ball to get up and stumbled, which 99 times out of 100.
That was Hill. And
99
Dean said,
times out of 100, that's a knock on.
No, it wasn't Dean, it was Lano said, we were lucky to get away with that. And I was like, yeah, we were, but his hand never moved off that
But you
ball.
can't use the ball to get up.
I don't think he did. I think he went to stand up. He had the ball on the floor to play it, stumbled, his hand stayed on the ball.
Still a knock on.
But it's not because his hand didn't move off the ball.
It's one of those where they go like that.
Anyway, you won.
80-minute performance was it this week? Just on that note?
18 minutes.
No, did Lano stay for the 80 minutes?
Yes, he did. No, to be fair, and I don't mind admitting it, we both left on 78.
I've got a point about that. Mason turned round to me after your second try and went, "Come go, I are watching this shit." Second try, and then when we got back level, I grabbed him and I was like, "That's why you don't leave early."
Right, ending it for us on another sour note. The only result that we can find is FC's reserves went down 28-26 to Wigan.
So I've got a couple in. The wheelchair, it's the only sour note from a Robins point of view this week, went down 52-26 to Lee Leopards. And the reserves turned over the Huddersfield Giants convincingly 82 points to 14. Not bad considering we don't have the reserves.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaff. Hull's own Comscaff have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaff.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
Shall we have some news from around the Rugby League world, gentlemen?
Yes, please.
There was actually...
Sorry. News from around the world.
I knew he was distracted.
Sorry, I was ordering my kids' tea.
No worries.
Because I'm here
And
and
you
Laura's...
got a partner for that?
She's at work.
Kids on the look.
Leighton's got them.
Okay.
Leah's there as well.
All right.
So.
There was a lot of news this week. Maybe because we're recording on a Tuesday and we've had a few more days to come out. But there's a few items to get through. First one, outgoing NRL CEO Abdo has warned us all, warned Super League I should say, to stay tuned for some exciting news regarding the NRL investment.
Oh, please happen now. Just do it now. Right now.
Look, I think it's, you do some reading on your own, gents, and people listening and watching, but there's nothing concrete yet. But he's obviously teasing, which makes you think that something must be happening.
Sorry. Gents and people.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Just excluding women.
I
from
think
the
you mean
podcast.
gents as in us and people
That,
over there, yeah.
On camera, I think I pointed to you as gents,
Yeah.
and then, but you know.
Gents and people.
Everybody.
What's listening on Spotify?
It'll be fun.
Perth Bears have announced the signing of Tyson Smoothy from Wakefield from 2027. Massive signing for them, that. Also massive for Wakey, doing so well this year, and a lot of their game plan and their team effort has been built around him. He's a superstar. It was a bit of a shock when he came to the Super League, to be honest with you, after winning with Brisbane the year before, and now he's going back and he's going to join the expansion team.
I have a question.
Wakefield have missed no time in trying to get a replacement, and they've announced that they've took on Mason Teague from Barley Bears on a 2-year deal.
I was just about to say, have they replaced him, Josh?
Yes, with Mason Teague from the Barley Bears on a 2-year deal. So reverse rivals round that we've just had, despite I think some grumbles from us about many grumbles from us and from others online I've seen about it being too close to the Magic Weekend and too many derbies in a year. Well, despite the fatigue that we felt, they actually set a highest aggregate attendance for a single round this season at 83,615 people in attendance at all games. Ooh. This would be is the 6th highest in Super League history. And so, obviously, fans are not as fatigued as we are on this podcast for going to see it. The notable ones amongst this, coming up in third, Leeds and Bradford at 16,548. Leeds not travelling as well as they could have done, is the comments I'm seeing online. Perhaps a couple more years with Bradford getting a bit better, maybe a bit more of a competitive fixture.
I think they said the same about Lee, didn't they? Lee takes something like 1,500 fans to Warrington.
They had something like 8 or 9. I ain't got them on this 8 or 9,000 in the end. I haven't got a
it's like next door.
Yeah. They didn't travel as well, but Leeds and Bradford were fared at 16.5k. Our derby, the one true derby came in second, 18,809 in attendance, but it was just pipped to the post by Wigan and Saints at 18,906. So literally 97 more people at that than there was at ours. So
I think it got mentioned on commentary, I saw I've heard, about imagine if FC want shit. You know, the fact that you get your, 4,500, 5,000 tickets or whatever you get. And then there's still, when you take out the season pass holders that might not have gone, bums on seats, you're probably still looking at 13,000, 14,000 FC fans there. Like, imagine if we wasn't shit.
Like a few years ago when it was fully sold out.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how big our fan base still is, despite, you know, the performances on the field. And if you could get us back up to, you know, even where we were 2016, 2017, where, you know, we're up there, we're kind of nudging towards being legit challengers for, you know, playoffs and stuff. Imagine if we got back just to that.
Isn't that what you guys call a cliff edge?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Well, every decade, 2005, done. Yeah, 2016, 17, then it's done. So, I don't know.
I fear we've got a long conversation on this next year when we see how results go in the opening half of next season with McNamara in charge, and we see how your performance on field is compared to attendances and things like that, because it's becoming a hot topic in our circle in Hull in Rugby League at the minute about, you know, I've seen a lot this week around FC fan base keeps growing because people have kids and then people come in and get the kids passes. That's true for every club, but you're still doing quite well. Then you get Rovers fans arguing, you give away so many free tickets. It's no different to every club. You know, when you guys merged back, you know, with Gateshead, you know, times were hard. When you got the new stadium and you started playing at KCOM at the time, or KC Stadium it was, that brought 5,000-6,000 new fans that you didn't get at the Boulevard. Rovers didn't get the figures and selling out most of the time that we get now when we was battling and when we was going down and coming back. It's Sportsphere. And I think that Hull fans, they deserve the credit for still coming in big numbers, and you are right. You know, could we have got a sold out crowd there if FC was first, second or third and challenging, and you had a chance? As it is, with 9 derby losses in a row, that's still a very good number.
Yeah.
In news that will interest Super League records and people interested in them, Maiko Sivo has a broken arm from the game at the weekend, and he'll be looking at potentially 6 weeks out.
Has it been confirmed now, or is it still suspected?
It's suspected, but it's not looking good from what I've heard on the old grapevine. So it looks.
The old Reddit van.
Yeah, it looks like the record of Dennis Salamona.
Yeah, 42 I think he got.
Might still be intact, but don't put it past Sivo coming back quickly.
10 tries in the grand final.
And scoring a lot. Final bit of news today, gents. Halifax Panthers have retained the Wheelchair Challenge Cup after defeating Leeds Rhinos 92-24. They are the only unbeaten side in the Challenge Cup Animal League, so massive shout out to them and smashing the wheelchair rugby at the minute. But a little.
It was a very good watch. I watched it.
Yes, good game.
Very, very good watch.
A little aside to this, Warrington Wheelchair are in a little bit of trouble, it may seem. The RFL are investigating the fact...
Have the wheels fallen off?
Well, you say that, but in recent times, they've not only had 2 games abandoned, but the reports of a referee being attacked have been put forward to the RFL as well.
They got French players.
Well, so it would,
French landsman.
it would appear that the Warrington Wheels wheelchair team may be in some trouble, but we don't know the ins and outs. We just know the RFL are investigating. So a lot happening in the wheelchair rugby league world this week.
Bragging rights, news and rumours.
Do your own research, gents and people.
Yeah, gents and people, do your own research.
That's saying news.
News, yeah, in inverted commas.
I mean, I should have said that for the FCKR one, because FC give away 2,000 sponsor passes that don't turn up. How many free kid tickets?
I don't get any.
Ah, boo.
You haven't got
You're meant
kids.
to buy it. Anyways,
I'm hungry, to be fair.
that was news from around the rugby league world.
I do want to... I want to...
You can't, it's finished.
No.
Cut.
It can't be. It can't be. My mum asked me. Yesterday when I was at the theatre. She was like, "Can you do me a favour?" Because she listens every week. My mum's blind. She listens every week on Apple or Spotify or whatever it is she fumbles around to find. And she has asked. She's my mum. I can take the piss. If at the end of each month we can give a roundup, and she said she wants to know current top goal kicker, try scorer, and the league standings, because it's easier for her if we read it out than if she gets someone to find it. So, currently, top goal kicker,
Leeds, isn't it?
Jake Connor,
Yeah.
105. Adam Kieran's in second with 82, so he's quite far ahead. Top try scorer is Micah Sevo. It's saying 29 here, but I thought he had 31.
I thought he had 27.
We'll stick with 29. He leads Brodie Croft, also leads with 23.
Yeah, he's crushing it. I don't like the
That
guy,
is-
but he's crushing it this season.
That is mental. And then the Super League itself, I actually ain't got up, but it's Leeds at the top and Huddersfield at the bottom, and
FC and Rovers somewhere in between. There.
FC Rovers somewhere
Yeah,
in
sounds
between.
fair to me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But
And everybody
yeah,
else somewhere in between.
that's just to up it. No, all right. So we've got Leeds, Wakefield a second.
Doing well.
That's absolutely fantastic. Wigan, Warrington, Lee and Rovers make up your top 6. Saints, Catalan, Toulouse, Castleford, York, Bradford, Hull and
I
Huddersfield.
think it's worth saying that St Helens are on 26 points, the same as us and Lee, I believe. We're all on 26.
Warrington and Lee are on 26. You are on 24 with a game in hand.
There we go.
But yeah, that might be boring for everyone else, but my mum's blind and it makes it easier for her, so shut up.
Let's include it. I like it.
Yeah.
Just be a bit more succinct next time, please.
Tribal Kingswood is proud to be the home of the Bragging Rights podcast. Whether you're looking for fantastic food, great drinks, or the perfect place to watch live sport, Tribal has you covered. Catch every Super League fixture, all the Premier League football matches, major darts tournaments, blockbuster boxing events, and so much more. And it's not just about the sport. With regular pub quizzes, family days, and guest DJs taking place throughout the year. And if you're a Hull FC or Hull KR season ticket holder, simply show your season pass to receive 15% off your entire food and drink bill. For great food, great sport, and a fantastic atmosphere, make Tribal Kingswood your next destination.
Right, comment section. This is the best bit.
Comment section.
So, we'll go to Gary first, because we love Gary. Gary sent me a video the other day, some cows.
Right, okay.
He just randomly sent it. Gary and John Story, who I'll come on to in a bit. Gary just sent me a picture of like 3 cows just like lounging around outside his house. Included his house, real nice house.
He's actually playing the Cowbell Army on Thursday.
I don't think that was the intention. No, I think he said, "Oh look, there's SA lying down, there's SAR, and there's Pricey not doing it." And like, you know, something like that. I was like,
I was going to ask if it was a better watch than watching FC, but
It was
More energy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, he said, another great podcast. Firstly, Craig, congrats on your 10K. Secondly,
Still recovering. I'm not.
not food related, but a question for you all. Should promotion and relegation be brought back? My thoughts are yes, as the likes of Huddersfield and this year's FC really have nothing to play for. And as you've mentioned, their seasons are over. If relegation was still a thing, they'd at least continue to play for the remaining games. Discuss. Tar.
He had some vote.
You've got a
Good
you've
point.
got a rant
Yeah,
pre-prepped,
yeah,
haven't you?
Personally, I prefer promotion and relegation to franchising or whatever the hell you want to call it, where it's based on the club's status, whatever else. But that really don't work for the clubs as businesses because they just won't know what the hell they're doing at the end of the year. Like, theoretically, you could have a team perform really well. Sorry, not perform. Never mind. That's a silly point. Yeah, they just obviously they can't plan, and obviously if they've got it's bad for the players to plan, it's bad for the clubs to plan. And while it would be my preferred option, because obviously selfish looking, that's what I prefer, I don't think any of the clubs are ever going to go for that again, unless they're sort of strong-armed into it by the RFL. So
It's, it's the points for me is that promotion relegation is part of sport in many sports, in many leagues.
Especially in Europe.
I was going to say European sports.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It adds excitement, it adds that nervousness. You sort of swing two ways on it. There's so many rubbish points about the IMG, about teams being able to do rubbish things like condemn a stand. You mentioned this the other day, didn't you, Abel?
Yeah.
Condemn a stand to get better points or upgrade a TV to get better points. That it makes a mockery of it. This isn't a question about do we prefer the IMG. It's promotion relegation. So my answer is yes. I want promotion relegation. I get it adds caveats. Players that have no championship clauses in them, they have to leave the club. But it was magic for us as a club, so we've got a bias towards it. And I still remember that conversation always comes back to the Salford fan saying, I'm so glad it's you that went down and not us, because we wouldn't survive as a club. And as it is, they're struggling to survive anyway.
I still think about that.
Well, they didn't survive, did they? Like they still went bust.
Well, exactly.
Well, it'd have
Been even
sped
worse,
it up.
yeah.
And it's just one of the things of like, forgetting right now that it would be a nervy time for FC fans and Huddersfield fans. Are they going down? Can they pull some results out? How exciting, I say this as a not big football fan, how exciting is those end of season games in the Premier League when teams are potentially going down or teams are coming up and
I went into last season before against Portsmouth, and it wasn't exciting at all. It was terrifying.
No, not for the fan of that club, but for the wider sport, and that it draws people in. And I think that we struggle to attract new fans because we have to explain to them how we pick the teams that go into our league. And then they look at things like Huddersfield and they go, so Huddersfield barely get 4,000 fans, but they're protected on gradings and they'll be there next year, and the bottom of the league for the fourth year running, I don't know, whatever it is. You know, all this rubbish, and you think, thinking bigger picture, promotion relegation helps the sport. For me, I prefer it.
I'm a traditionalist. I back that up. Like Josh just said, it was a magic time for us as a club. It was the start of leading to where we are now. People go, but what about getting into Super League? Well, yeah, you've got to get into Super League to get relegated. But for me, that was the start of what's led to these glory years, or glory 18 months, shall we say? It's not quite years yet. But yeah, for me, I think you do need it. And again, Josh has mentioned it. The fans, it brings something else for the fans, whether it's being terrified, whether it's that hope, whether it's that expectation, whether it's that whatever the other side of hope is. Like
Despair.
no, not despair. Like the trepidation of possibly being relegated. Like, you know, you're worried that you're going to get relegated. Like on that day against Salford, I felt confident we were going to remain a Super League side. But then after the fact, it was like, shit, we're not a Super League side now. But everything brilliant started for us. We had things in place and everything started for us the next day when Sean Lunt agreed to stay. So, for me, yes, we need promotion and relegation. It brings more talking points. So yeah, for me, it's a yeah.
it also,
I would prefer if the sport was in a position to have promotion and relegation without risking players' livelihoods, teams' existence, etc. Like, I'm very much a traditionalist in terms of I want promotion and relegation to come back, but I'm also on the realistic side of things where I'm like, as it stands right now with the amount of funding, the size of the talent pool, etc., we're doing the right thing, because less teams, especially in terms of going up and going down, are having trouble with money. The teams are still having trouble with money, but less because of that constant yo-yo. And secondly, as a player, like, it's not a footballer where you're getting 30 grand a week. Some of these players are getting 30, 40 grand a year. And then it's a case of, now you're getting half that, if not less, because you're part-time. So you're going to have to find another job. And it's a complete change of livelihood. Whereas if you get relegated from the Premier League and you're on 50 grand a week, and you go down to the Championship, well, maybe you're on 25 grand a week. You're still on 25 grand a week. You know, and if the money was there to make the Championship full-time, and both leagues were full-time, and could pay enough wages for the players to be full-time and not need part-time jobs and always be in a position where they will be earning enough money to survive as people and support their families, yeah, bring it back. But we're nowhere near it.
There's a solution to that. Be better.
Yeah, there is fair enough, there is that. But
if you're a fringe player who's sort of there or thereabouts, but not quite top tier status or even sort of middle tier status, then you run that risk. You know the risks when you go into that.
But how many less people would do it with that risk in place? You would lose talent.
Previously we knew that though, didn't we?
Yeah, but
we never struggled with a talent pool.
But how many people left the sport because of things like that? Look at the one that stands out for me, Jamie Foster. Great winger, fantastic kicker.
Shit hairdo. And then,
ironically, because the sport plays so poorly, he ends up leaving and opens a barbershop because it's a more safe and more secure to run a barbershop than it is to play professional sport.
The problem is, you're right, Jim, you need to secure the Championship in a better position, because right now, you've got what they're calling potentially the greatest Championship team of all time in London Broncos. And it means nothing when there's so much funding and backing that they're essentially treating them like a Super League club and paying them all to be full-time, and they're playing against sides that can't afford to do that. And then you've got players, as you say, that end up going down to a Championship, they get the wages cut in half. How can they continue to try and perform and train like a professional athlete, an elite athlete, if they've got to spend 40 hours a week lugging bricks, 40 hours sat in a call centre? It doesn't matter what they do. How can they do that, train properly and get to that level where they'll then get picked for a Super League club again? And we don't have the infrastructure for the support to actually provide a successful promotion relegation, I think. And it's sad because it's probably the right way to run a sport.
Yeah. Anyway, you was going to say something else.
The promotion relegation, it also feels fair for the teams that are in the Championship, because there is the chance that you can actually, you could unearth a couple of gems and then play your way into the Super League, whereas when it's based on criteria, unless you've got a rich owner, you can't really improve your own lot that easily, can you?
No.
So
yeah. Well, unless you play at a shared stadium and the football club gets promoted to the Premier League and they spend a load of money on new screens, which improves your IMG rating. Getting new LED boards as well.
Nice.
Thanks, Adjan. Knobhead. Anyway,
just on that, City 2-0 up.
Oh, I know, I've got a thing.
57 and 58.
Anyway.
Ollie McBurney scored the first, don't know about the second.
Okay. This is a Rugby League podcast.
Who's there?
Anyway, James Wilson has said, "It is my belief that the reason our season has failed is purely down to the way John Cartwright responded to a legal obligation in his contract. Agreed or not agreed?" Rovers boys want to go
Disagree.
first? Go on.
He's going to react...
Maybe a one-word answer like Abel.
Yeah. He's more likely to react like that by the manner it was done by FC, which we've spoke about on a previous podcast, so we don't need to go into it. But
which we still don't know the full ins and outs of, because
we're never going to know that. But from what we've been told, most normal human beings, we've got to remember, we've got to factor in these are human beings. Most normal human beings would have some sort of similar reaction to what Cartwright had.
Yeah, I've moved halfway across the world, you give me a 3-year contract, you're terminating it a year early, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. That's what I'd have done.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I don't blame Cartwright, I blame the board. For if that's what you're pinpointing as your...
I'm not.
No, but James, but if that's what he's pinpointing as the sort of turning point from when your season went from okay to not okay.
Yeah.
We'll use them terminologies because you can't get relegated, so it's not shit. If you're pinpointing that, it's the board's fault from an outsider looking in.
The point on Cartwright is, I think everybody, including like myself and other Rovers fans, quite likes the guy, liked the animation he showed. We always said that. Thought he spoke fairly about the players and about the performances. The manner in which it was dealt with was poor. We all agree on that. I'm questioning his ability as a coach now because he wants to sign Barrow for Catalan, and yet he's lost all credit now. All jokes aside, for me, broken record again. If everywhere you go it smells of shit, check your own shoes, right? FC, bad apples repeatedly, something wrong in the club, something toxic. Sick of saying it, sick of being proved right. Caesar, what's wrong with him? Why does he turn up and then not sign up? Why are we hearing reports of players that pretend to do what we're doing in the training but sack it off behind the scenes? All these things that go on and all these problems that we thought FC had got rid of, are we now finally going to see the back of it? Or have we just replaced toxic with more toxic in people like Richie Malley? We don't know. Long time, we'll see. But I don't think it might be a pivotal point of your season, but I don't think it's the actual crux of where it all went wrong. I think you still had other problems regarding injuries, bad apples in the team and stuff like that. It's just a crucial part of it, but it's not the paramount piece that made it happen and made it a bad season.
I wonder. Obviously, we've had things that aren't directly under the control of the coach, i.e., injuries. Do we perform better? Obviously, from when he left, with him in charge in the games that we've lost and some of the performances that we've turned in. Because we
what a question.
We weren't turning. We might have been crap, but we also were struggling with less players available. I don't know if you get, say, where we couldn't score against Toulouse, for example, where we just looked like we didn't have a clue. Like, I don't know if you get that with Cartwright. We just didn't look like we could be arsed on that day. Now, again, do you think that he's not necessarily the best coach, because I mean he's not necessarily turned Catalan around immediately, has he? The second he's gone over there, but we were constantly praising the effort when he was here, and now we're starting to question the effort because we're sort of getting we played for 20 minutes this week, guys, and that never really happened when he was still there. So
I agree. I think with Cartwright still as head coach now, without all the shit that went on, if it was just we won't get McNamara, Cartwright was still the head coach, I think we're in a better position with that than we are now. I think the whole situation was handled really poorly by him and by the club. I think, obviously the way they've approached him's pissed him off. The way that they've told him that they were going to, exercise their right to do what they could do has pissed him off, and he's got pissed off, but he's come out publicly. He had the opportunity to see out the season. It wasn't a case of leave now. He had the opportunity to see it out, and he spat his dummy out. Shouldn't have done that as a professional coach, and after the way he was with us, especially after the first year, it wasn't a surprise to see him do it. What's also surprising, or not so surprising, is the players that were loyal to him have flipped. Aidan Caesar last season was fantastic. This season, he's been dreadful since he left. But I think it goes back even further than that. Even before he left, we were nowhere near where we were last season. Even with your Prices playing and Asiata playing, we were still nowhere near where we were last season. And looking at the way that the players are playing now, from a fitness perspective, I'm starting to question what pre-season was like. Was it tough enough? Was it intense enough? Because there's a lot of players now that haven't spent time out injured, surprisingly, that still don't look fit. And that for me is a big question mark. And if you look back to pre-season, I think in the first sort of 6 weeks of pre-season, if you go back and check all the news articles, I think we had 13 players-ish that had surgery in the off-season that clearly didn't do a full pre-season. So, not saying it's Cartwright's fault that they didn't have a proper pre-season, but injuries and surgeries in the off-season have led to poor preparation, poor start to the season, Cartwright getting let go, players getting pissed off, even poorer performances. And yeah, I don't think it's all on Cartwright. I think it's like a butterfly effect.
Well, look, Catalan have just turned over Toulouse, haven't they? They won this weekend. High-flying Toulouse that everyone was starting to fear a little bit. Catalan looked like they was dropping a bit. Cartwright looked like he had a shaky start. They won this weekend.
The fullback though, didn't they?
Yeah, granted, there's always going to be circumstance. But what I'm saying is, did he have something he knew how to get the best out of the team? Did he know how to keep it together? And I think the reality is, I think we all know this, but it should have happened at the end of the year. It should have been kept under wraps. It should have been, thank you for your season. You made the playoffs. You didn't make the playoffs. It was another poor season. Who cares? We're letting him go. McNamara's coming in.
They had to. They had to give him so many months' notice.
I know they had to do it. What I'm saying is, in ideal world, that's what would have happened. You'd have waited until you hadn't made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Or not have done it so early.
But it would have cost us money and, yeah.
But it meant to be
whatever.
richest club in the world, right?
I agree. The one thing that Cartwright brought to our team, and I haven't watched Catalan since he took over, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's brought it to their team, is the thing that Craig loves, them 1%. Them 1% efforts our players were putting in, week out, right up until Cartwright.
The reality is last year, your players, these young players, started getting talked about as potential England players. Martin nearly got the Young Player of the Year, record number of tries. That all happened under Cartwright's watch. This year, none of your team are doing anything.
So I just want to give a massive shout out to everybody who has donated towards the 10k run which I did for MND, which Gary alluded to a little bit earlier on, so thank you for that, Gary. It is massively appreciated. For all your donations and everything like that, you've helped me personally raise £700 as a personal total, which I had a target of 500. I've managed to get to 7, which is absolutely fantastic, so thank you very much. I don't have a full total for what was raised on the day, but I will speak to Craig in the coming days, weeks, and try and find out how much total was raised from just that fun run. As I said before, he is looking to make it a yearly thing, so keep your eyes posted for that if you feel like getting involved in one way or another. So this is the last week for the MND Association Craig Escrit fundraising sponsor slot that we have. We have got one for next month lined up, I believe, Jimmy, which we will announce on next week's episode when it ticks over to August. And speaking of August, is it the 1st of August, Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday, 1st of August. It's something that's close to us as a podcast, which we touched on last season, was Lila's Law. They're having another fun day on the 1st of August. Is it a Good Fellowship again?
At Good Fellowship, yeah.
At Good Fellowship again. There's posters flying around on social media. Are we going to be posting one on our Instagram maybe?
Yeah. Ask Susan.
Are we going to be posting one, Susan? I've just got a thumbs up. So if you feel like getting, I know we say it every week and it's money this and money that, but it is all going to...
Mate, there's going to be a fire engine there. I said this in the group chat earlier.
To Josh.
Right, to Josh.
Yeah.
There's going to be a fire engine.
There's going to be a fire engine, so...
Kids love, if you've got kids love firemen.
Women.
Fire engine. Kids love fire engines and women love firemen. And there's beer for the men. It's a fun day for all the family.
Women can drink beer, it's 2026.
No, there'll be two ogling the firemen. Not that we're
what's better to
stereotyping or
ogle
anything.
somebody with than a beer?
Why can't the men ogle the
They
firemen?
can.
Well, they can if they want, but I'm being stereotyping. I'm doing stereotyping.
We don't stereotype on this podcast.
Too late.
Not when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. So I'll put you in your place for that one.
We're going to get banned again, aren't we?
But anyways, so that's coming up on this
Saturday. 1 p.m.
1 p.m. at Good Fellowship.
12:01. I've had a slide there.
Get there at 12, have a drink. If it starts at 1, you're
I think
already
it starts
married.
at 12.
Win-win. Last year was really good. We managed to get
Starts
down
at
and
12.
Starts at 12.
On the 1th.
On the 1th.
Yeah.
That's where you've got the 1 from, Josh. So yeah, if you feel like coming down just to show your support to John, there'll be raffles, games, all that jazz that you usually get at a fun day. And as Jimmy's alluded to, there is a fire engine. So if that's your thing, get yourself down and look at him, look how happy he is.
Fireman
That's the exact face you pulled last year as well when the firemen were there as well.
I actually sat in the fire engine last year.
I hope you got a photo.
Nah, I didn't.
Ah, good. But yeah, so that rounds us up for our monthly sponsor. I just want to say, close it off with a massive, massive thank you to everybody who's shared, donated, spoke to somebody about it. or even if it's just raised awareness for you around this horrible disease, then that's absolutely fantastic.
Do you want to start?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Oh, go on then. Let's talk about our upcoming fixture on Thursday. I really hope I can get this episode out tonight so people have got a chance to listen. But yeah, Thursday, it says FC versus Huddersfield, but I do believe we are away.
You are.
At the ACU Stadium. It's going to be great. Isn't it? It's going to be brilliant.
The cynicism's absolutely superb.
Well, I mean, you look at where we are in the league, you look at all the stats, you look at how we've been playing.
Relegation 4-pointer?
But it's not a relegation 4-pointer, because as Gary
Bottom
has
of the table
alluded
4-pointer.
Proper wooden spoon off.
Yeah.
All I can,
Oh, I like that.
All I can say, I hope it don't rain, because if it rains, it's going to be a drop-a-thon, innit? Like the balls flying everywhere, no one's catching them.
Drop-a-thon.
It's
What was it Steve said? Knock on a thon.
knock
was
on
it?
a
Or
that.
was that
Yeah,
John
it's
Keir?
going to be. Looking at it,
You're just mixing up bald people.
Yes.
looking at it in the lead up, like I say, looking at their form, looking at our form, I'm going,
But you don't know why.
no, not necessarily I don't know why I'm going, because I'm a fan, like I'll always go. I am expecting to watch the worst game of rugby league I've ever watched.
We've not already had that this year.
No, I've had our worst performance I've ever seen, but
This is great.
because they're going to be so bad as well, in my opinion.
I mean, they've just won.
Yeah,
They beat York, who you couldn't beat.
yeah, but whatever.
It's all caveats.
Don't you think it has the feel of one of those games where, and this is like, sounds stupid because it's always one of them, but it'll be real tight, and for some reason it'll be real nitty gritty, and there won't be a lot of points, and one of you will nick it 8-6. And
It'll be a 1-0 win because no one's good enough to score a try.
Or they'll blow the doors wide open, and everyone will be like, did you see that 80-point thriller between...
Yeah, and it'll either be 1-0 or 44-40.
Yeah, it just has that feeling.
But,
Can I ask you a question on this?
nope.
It's not... I love it when you don't like it. For me, this game comes down to one thing quite clear. There's nothing to play for.
Who
You've
scores
already
the
said,
most?
yeah, there's no relegation. So it comes down to a matter of pride. Who has more pride in the shirt on the night? Which players want it more? So, do you consider this, you two guys, FC fans, a must-win game in terms of your season where you're at right now?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think you can look at it any other way realistically. That we aren't the worst. But on paper, we're nowhere near the worst team. But because of performances, we are down there, and is it on merit when it's that bad? But either
What's
way,
the opposite of merit?
yeah,
Demerit.
either way, yeah, it feels like it.
I'm shocked you've said that. I thought you both say no.
I liken...
I'm shocked Abel give more than a one-word answer.
I liken the lead up to this, and I hope I don't liken it to this, but I'm likening it to FC versus London 2 years ago, when I think they were 2 points behind us, and their win put us level, and I think it stayed like that for the rest of the season. I think that was what happened. I remember me and Dean were in Turkey watching it. I think it was a Magic Weekend game, and it feels like that. And I just hope to God it's not like that, because that was an awful game of rugby. And like with that one, it wasn't as bad because I was sat outside in the sun with a pint. This one, I'm not going to be sat outside in the sun with a pint. I'm going to be sat outside in
the
a
rain.
stadium with about 5 bloody home fans in it, without a pint because I'm driving.
Sat outside in the rain with a
Sat
bottle.
outside in the rain at the top of an hill in West Yorkshire after struggling down the M62, 12 car crashes on the way there. Yeah.
Touch wood, that doesn't happen.
Touch wood, it doesn't happen.
We are
but-
known for manifesting
alright
things
then.
on this podcast.
Traffic incidents, it might be a breakdown, who knows. But you know what I mean, there's always something on them away days that slows you down. You get there late, you're rushing around. It's just I don't like rugby.
On paper, your squad, I'm trying to look at the Huddersfield team now because I've just seen yours. On paper, this should just be an FC win, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Even without Bryce and Asiat, because as we mentioned earlier, in reality, starting 13, we're only missing 2 players.
Got some good news.
No.
Aiden's back in your squad.
That's not. Yeah. Like, we're missing two.
It's for us what your reactions.
We're missing two nailed-on starters in Price and Asiata. That's it. And then other than that, you've got Sau, Romano, and Bailey. Are the other three that are injured that could be challenging for spaces. But even at the minute, like with Bailey, he'd be challenging Lennon Clark. But to be honest, if Bailey gets fit again, he's not outdoing Lennon Clark
not from what I've seen.
Without putting effort in. Clark's been great. You've got Sau probably out. I'd take SASA back out if Sau got fit and just get SASA fit. And then Romano, who knows? You maybe stick him in at centre for Lytton.
And he was looking good. He was looking good at centre one early in the year. So.
You look at that and look at Huddersfield, now Levels.
Now Levels is injured.
Now Levels is going to be out, he's injured again. They've dropped a couple of the youngsters, they've got some people coming in, no disrespect, they're not of note, the names, but they've still got Tarn Milne serving the second of his 3-match suspension. They're not without him, he can be talismanic on his day sometimes. Adam Swift's still injured for him, Adam Clune, Sam Holsall. So any of the names that are names for the Giants aren't really there. There's a couple still in it. It's got to be a win for you.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well,
I mean, it was pretty comfortable about 4 or 5 weeks back.
It was very comfortable.
It was 36-10, 36-12.
And I hope it is that again. But
it should be, but we just haven't been showing that.
What I won't do this time is get my hopes up afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll just enjoy it for what it is on the day, and then go home. Have a smile on my face when I go to sleep, wake up, and it'll just be like, back to normal.
Oh, the NRL's on.
No, I don't watch that now because Wests have got shit again.
Is that because Adam Dewey refused to play?
Dwayne?
Or whatever the fuck.
Is that because the West Tigers players have been reported to be vaping in the sheds?
Have they really?
Yeah. Look, don't support a team that Jimmy supports. That's the messaging that we're getting out there this week.
Rovers Bradford. Home game. Retro round for the Robins.
Retro round Friday night. Under the bright lights.
8 p.m. Sewell Group Craven Park.
I was going to say they're not going to be bright if you're at Odsall.
OKR versus apparently they're not bad when you're there.
Yeah, I know they.
OKR versus Bradford. Only thing I've seen from us, Josh will probably correct me here, is Artem Morg, broken thumb.
Aww.
Unsure if it needs surgery.
Aww.
No, there's a couple, to be honest with you, pal.
Dean Hadley.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, I'd written in my notes before we got the news through saying, is there a chance to rotate? Maybe is Leyland going to come in? We haven't announced our squad yet, unlike obviously you guys have having the Thursday night game. And then as we was travelling here today, Morg, another spell my sidelines or broken thumb. Apparently Hampshire's going to come in and play, so still no chance for Charles to come in. But also there'll be no Sue or Hadley either.
I had this discussion last week at the derby with somebody around Charles, and apparently he's playing at championship level at the moment, according to Peters.
Yes, like when he played for us?
Well, yeah, but you can't get away with it in a top class side. So
He didn't get away with it with us, it was just we had no one else.
So, yeah, if that's true, then fair play. You can understand why he's still in that sort of development stage and is not just ready to come in, which is one thing that Peters has never been scared of. He's never been scared of not putting somebody in, which we can't knock, can we?
I don't know what the conversation here is. It's just the banter between the two clubs. He was poached, or you let him go. It doesn't matter. He's gone across to his dad's club. It's where he wanted to be. If he's not playing at the level, he doesn't play. This throwback of
until he sacked us off and went to Sheffield.
Yeah, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? It's the point of if he's not good enough. You was putting Charles in. Was he good enough back then for you guys? Maybe. I can't remember what you guys said at the time, or what Dean said when he was on the pod, but it's there to learn and grow. We're giving him a chance to learn and grow in a different environment. Let's see what the future brings. Maybe he's not Super League quality.
To be fair, I was in the minority when you guys were looking at signing him, and I wasn't bothered when he left. I didn't see anything from him whilst he was playing for us that made me think he's going to be wearing a 7 shirt for any club in Super League. But I thought the same about Liam Harris, and he's done all right at York. But it took him a while.
Sometimes it's just different. We've had this discussion before, haven't we? We always say this. But it's different environments. That environment, look at Josh Hodgson. He wasn't happy at all. Like, the environment there.
Just won't get in the game time.
Well, not only that, but he said, like, I remember speaking to his mum, and he left the house at 9 o'clock for training and was back home by 2. Whether that's juniors training, or like scholarship or reserves training, or whether that's the first team.
I would have thought that'd be normal in professional sport.
No, because you'd expect like video sessions, gym sessions, massages, all that sort of stuff.
How long can you physically
Wait, but
run a player into the ground?
When
for
he
that?
went to Rovers, he was leaving the house at 8 a.m. and not getting back till after tea time.
It's an anecdote on an individual player, but I think the point when this came out about it was that Rugby League, Super League teams are transitioning to a more American NFL model of long sessions all day, bit of training in the morning, a break, you bond as a team, you eat together, you have a video session in the afternoon, you have some lighter stuff later on in the afternoon, you treat it like a full-time job, you get your 45 hours out of your players, not 45 hours of training. Now, at the time, FC wasn't providing that for him. Now things change and move on, but Craig's point's very astute. Different environments make different people grow, don't they? Now, we'll see what happens with Charles. For me, turning it back to the game on Friday night, famous last words, not worried about Bradford. They're injury ravaged. They've got to come to Craven Park. Regardless of what form we're in, it's a tough place to play. I shared a chart with you guys earlier that showed that we wasn't actually that bad on the recent form chart. In the last 10 games, we sit 5th or 6th.
5th or 6th, yeah.
5th on the form chart. And last week, some players that needed to step up really did. And it was one of our better performances where players that, there's been questions over Lawton a bit, there's been questions over Mini.
He was superb as well.
Budgie coming back from this injury and the rumours. We still know our usuals. Jez Litton's still the best hooker in the league. Davies is still the best meter maker coming out of the back as a winger in the league, and he carried that on. But other players stepped up. So yeah, we've got a few questions, but I'm not going to be too triggered about Bradford. I'll adjust my prediction accordingly for the changes that we've got, missing a couple in the middle. But I expect a win from us and hopefully a comfortable one. As for us, start of our cementing ourselves in the playoff charge now. We're there, we've got a game in hand, we've got a decent enough run in. Let's start with a big one on Friday night and build on it.
Right, predictions then. So, yellow cap, I forgot what it was then for a second. Yellow cap this week was won by Fingerbum Tig. I shit you not.
Is it yellow or is it gold?
It's yellow cap.
Okay.
Yes. Who is Stephen Young. He scored 9.5 points, so a relatively low scoring round this week. I think that's sort of reflected in the hosts' standings there. And the wooden spoon, God, I'm all over the place. The wooden spoon goes to Chris87, who's Chris Peacock, who scored 3 points.
He's our Hull FC shirt winner from earlier in the season.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Not to call him out, Aaron.
And did we go on a stag do with him many years ago? Did they ask this the other week?
No,
And Sean stag do.
No.
Anyways,
No, different Chris.
he scored 3 points. There was a lot of people who scored 3 points, but I'm assuming by winning margin, he was the worst, finished bottom. Susan still top, 127 points, up 4.5. Dean, 117.75, up 5. Jimmy, 108, plus 5.5. High scorer of the round for us lot this week. Myself on 106, up 4.5. Josh closing the gap again, back 9 player over there. 105.75, up 5 points. So it's very, very close. I'm going to finish bottom again.
And if Susan's winning, she gets to pick your forfeit. You have to wear an FC shirt.
I won't. I'd rather die. Huddersfield versus Hull. Thursday night, I've got Hull by 10.
Hull by 4.
Hull by 8.
Hull by 10.
Friday night, okay, Bradford, I've got Rovers by 12.
Rovers by 20.
Rovers by 14.
Rovers by 10.
Then Leeds to lose, I've got Leeds by 18.
Leeds by 14.
Leeds by 20.
Leeds by 8.
Lee Wigan, Lee by 4.
Lee by 6.
Lee by 4.
Lee by 4.
Oh, I'll Lee there. Castleford versus Warrington, this is one I struggled with, which I spoke to you about before, and Josh, but I've eventually plumped for a Castleford win by 2.
Castleford by 8.
Warrington 4.
Warrington by 22.
Wow. Or as Owen Wilson would say.
Wow.
York St Helens, I've got Saints by 14.
Saints by 4.
Saints by 4.
York by 4.
Ooh.
couple different.
Big
you
player
might be
Cartwright's
bottom by
out,
this
innit?
week. Yeah, that's it, innit, again.
There's a shock.
Oh, the old tampon.
Catalan's Wakefield, rounding off the week. Wakefield by 10.
Wakefield by 14.
Wakefield 12.
Wakefield 10.
And that rounds up predictions for this week.
Only a couple going the opposite way then.
Both of them are Jimmy.
Got to do something to try and pull away from you two.
Well, we don't know what Susan and Dean have done, do we, to be fair?
No, fair. And just to clarify, I don't know their things, so I've not purposefully gone opposites. Like we don't actually discuss them before the pod, do we? So
there's just some interesting ones, and I think, that one that split as Cass and Wire comes down to, I think the Wire are just hit and miss, but so Cass can turn up on the day, can't they?
I'm just looking at Cash got spanked by a 12-man Wakefield
But
team.
10 leads over. It's just so inconsistent.
So that's where I'm coming
It's at
at.
Cass.
Yeah,
And I don't
but-
like Wire on the road as much as I like him at home.
Cass remind me of a bric-a-brac stall at a car boot. Some weeks it's good and some weeks it's shit. I'm not wrong though, am I?
It's just Lego stuff. One week you've got the Death Star, and the next week you've just got
One
some
of the
bricks.
Lego botanicals
Yeah.
or like a mishmash of
There's
blocks.
no wrong with botanicals. Anyway, that's it for the week. Thank you very much to Comscaf again for being our sponsor, to Tribal for being the home of the pod, all the other sponsors as well. 7 Goal, you've got GN Carpets, you've got Perfect Parking Consultancy, I think is the name. Sorry, Gary. Thanks to all of them. Don't forget to like, subscribe on whatever you are listening on or watching on, and if you are watching on YouTube, please give us a hype or 3, because that really helps. But that's it from me. See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.